Hey guys, today me try understand why every country is in debt and who they are owing, and me already feel brain melt. Me sit by fire roasting small fish when magic glowing box show news rock. Government spend billions on fancy stone road while country drowning in debt. Caveman choke on fish bone, how tribes spend like rich chief but still broke like squirrel with no nuts. Then me hear not just one tribe, all tribes owe shells, big ones like America, Japan, Germany, even small rich tribes with gold huts. Japan owe 2 times size of their whole economy. America owe 36 trillion shiny shells. Caveman brain say that number too big, need bigger rock to write it. Me start asking, why tribe borrow so much? Why not just make more shiny shells? And who is this mysterious giant with pockets big enough to lend so much to whole country? If me no learn this, me stay dumb forever, and one day end up paying debt with mammoth meat. Before you sit comfy on mammoth skin, smash like button and hit magic scribe stick, but only if what me say make you smile or think. Tell cavemen in comments, where your cave, what moon time? Now grab your stone seat, hold on to your beard, and let's walk into the firelight of today's hunt. So me start with simple question, what is this national debt? Young tribe banker explain. Caveman, think of it like when you borrow spear from neighbor hunter, because your spear broken, but you promise to bring it back with extra fish as thanks. Caveman nod, yes, that makes sense. Except in modern world, spear is money, fish is interest, and neighbor is sometimes whole other tribe on other side of world. They call it national debt, public debt, sovereign debt, many names, same beast. It's the total shiny shells federal or central chief government owes. Not the shells of smaller village chiefs, not your cousin's gambling debt, not your stone credit card bill, just the big central chief's debt. For example, U.S. national debt is only U.S. federal government's debt. California and Texas can have their own debts, like mini tribes owing shells for their own projects. And your personal hut loan or student shell debt? That's your problem, not counted here. And how tribe borrow? Not from one giant magical bank in the clouds. No, they borrow from many places, other tribes, big stone banks, even their own people. Sometimes, even you lend them without knowing when you buy something called bonds. So now caveman know what national debt is. But still, why would big strong tribe even borrow in first place? Why not just hunt more mammoth or print more shells? Caveman ask banker, if tribe need more shiny shells, why not just make more? Me do this with beads all the time. Banker laughs so hard, nearly spill coffee bean water. He say because caveman, if you make too many shells, they lose magic. He tells story of faraway tribes, Venezuela, Zimbabwe, where chiefs thought they were clever. They printed shiny shells like leaves in rainy season. At first, everyone happy. Then, prices shoot up faster than rabbit chased by wolf. One day, one shell buy big basket of grain. Next moon, one shell only buy single grain. Soon, shells worth less than dried squirrel tail. This called hyperinflation. Cavemen imagined trading mammoth meat for wheelbarrow full of useless shells. Not good. So borrowing actually better. When tribe borrow, they get shells now, but also get reminder you must pay back with interest. This keep them disciplined. If they waste shells, they still have to face lender's club later. Banker says, debt is like fire. Small, it cook your stew. Big and uncontrolled, it burn your whole cave. Caveman nods. Fire analogies always make sense. Now caveman want to know, why exactly do tribes borrow instead of just cutting back or raising more shells from taxes? Banker grins. Sit caveman, many reasons. Some smart, some very dumb. Banker says first reason is simple. Tribe spends more shells than it collects. This is called budget deficit. Tribe gets most shells from taxes. Caveman imagines this like every hunter giving small piece of mammoth to chief so he can feed the old, build huts, and keep fire burning. Banker says first reason is simple. Tribe spends more shells than it collects. This is called budget deficit. Tribe gets most shells from taxes. Caveman imagines this like every hunter giving small piece of mammoth to chief so he can feed the old, build huts, and keep fire burning. But sometimes the mammoth pieces are not enough. Example: chief collects $3 trillion shells but needs $4 trillion shells for schools, healers, warriors, and road building. That's a $1 trillion shell gap. Caveman thinks, cut spending? Banker shakes head. If chief cuts too much, schools break, healers quit, warriors grumble. People protest outside chief's cave by next moon. Raise taxes? Banker sighs. People hate this more. Tribe complain, throw mud, and sometimes remove chief from cave. So easiest way? Borrow shells to fill the gap. People still grumble, but less than if you take their shells directly. Caveman realizes, this is like when me not have enough mammoth meat for feast, so me borrow from neighbor hunter, promise to repay after next hunt. But banker whispers, sometimes deficit not from helping tribe, sometimes it from chief wasting shells on shiny rock statues or war drums he no need. Caveman nod. Wasteful chiefs same in every age. Banker say borrowing not always bad. Sometimes tribe borrow to build things now instead of waiting forever. Caveman picture this. Tribe has no shells for new stone road, school huts, or healer tents. Chief could save shells little by little over many moons. But by then, roads crumble, younglings grow old, and sick people already in ancestor land. If tribe borrow shells now, they can build road today, open school next moon, and fix healer tent before winter. This make tribe stronger and happier faster. And when tribe stronger, they hunt more, trade more, and bring in more shells to pay debt later. Banker give example. If government build bridge now, traders cross river quicker, sell more, pay more taxes. This growth help pay for bridge faster than if we waited. Caveman nod. Yes, like building bigger fire pit now so more tribe members can cook at once. So borrowing for growth is like hunting big mammoth today instead of waiting for smaller deer every moon. You feed tribe more and have extra to trade, if you manage meat well. But banker warn, build with bad plan and tribe end up with shiny bridge to nowhere. Caveman shiver, he's seen that happen before. Sometimes bankers say tribe no choose to borrow, crisis force their hand. Caveman remember great storm that smash half the huts. In such times, you no argue about saving shells, you act fast. Same for modern tribes. When war drums beat, big sickness spread, or giant wave hit coast, chief must protect people. Banker tell Caveman about year 2020, big sickness, they call it COVID-19, spread across all tribes. People no work, no trade, no hunt. In just 1 year, America borrowed $3.8 trillion shells, almost 1/5 of everything they make in a year, just to keep tribe from freezing. They send stimulus shells to each hut, help shops keep fires burning, and pay healers to fight sickness. Without borrowing, many would lose huts, fires, and even lives. Caveman nods slowly. Yes, he remember when tribe pulled together after mammoth stampede destroyed food store. They share meat, not because they want debt, but because it was only way to survive. But banker warn, if crisis borrowing happen too often, tribe get used to it. Then they borrow even when fire is small until one day, there's nothing left to borrow. Caveman scratch beard. That sound like hunter who always forget his own spear. Banker lean close and whisper, Caveman, sometimes tribe borrow just to pay old borrow. Caveman frown. You mean like when me borrow spear from Hunter Grog, then borrow club from Hunter Og to give back spear to Grog? Banker nod. Exactly. This called rolling over debt. It happened when loan deadline comes, but chief's shell pouch still empty. Instead of admitting no shells, they borrow fresh pile to pay the old pile. Done right, this can keep fire going. Done wrong, it's like running in mammoth circle, always moving, never getting anywhere. Banker give grim story, Sri Lanka. For many moons, they borrow to pay old loans. One day, lenders say no more shells until you pay first. but tribe had nothing left. In 2022, they default, meaning they stop paying altogether. This caused mass protests, empty markets, and angry crowds at Chief's hut. Caveman shiver. He's seen same thing when hunter keep trading borrowed spear for borrowed club until no hunter trust him anymore. Then he must hunt with bare hands, and bare hands no good for mammoth. So paying debt with debt can work, but only if chief keep balance, else debt monster grow too big to fight. Banker say, Caveman, sometimes chief borrow not because he broke, but to control the tribe's fire. Caveman tilt head. Control fire? Banker nod. Fire is like economy. Too hot it burns, too cold tribe freeze. When inflation, prices going up too fast, starts burning the tribe's pockets, chief can issue bonds, fancy borrowing papers, to pull shells out of the market. Less shells floating around means fire cools down, prices calm. When economy cold and slow, chief can borrow more shells and spend to warm fire, build roads, give tax breaks, help traders. This puts more shells in tribe hands, getting them moving and hunting again. Cavemen imagine it like cooking stew. Too hot? Take some logs out. Too cold? Throw in more wood, but must be careful. Too many logs too fast, stew boil over. Take out too many logs, stew freeze. Bankers say, debt is also a tool to keep interest rates steady. Cavemen nod, but still think interest rates sound like tricky river currents. You paddle wrong, you tip boat. So borrowing can be part of plan, not just survival. But now cavemen want to know, who are these mysterious lenders with mountains of shells to lend to entire tribes? Cavemen think maybe they're one huge mountain cave where all shells kept, guarded by giant banker mammoth. Banker laugh. No, caveman, countries borrow from 3 main sources, and giant mammoth not one of them. First, domestic lenders, tribe's own people, citizens, banks, even government agencies buy something called bonds. It's like you giving shells to chief today and he promised to give them back later with extra. In America, even Social Security, the Elder Shell Fund, buys bonds to grow more shells for retirement. In fact, about $7.3 trillion of U.S. debt is money the government owes to itself. Cavemen think that sound like borrowing mammoth meat from own storage hut. Second, foreign lenders, other tribes and their banks. Some even buy bonds for profit. Countries like Japan and China hold hundreds of billions in U.S. bonds. Strong tribes can borrow cheap because everyone trusts them. Weak tribes, not so much. For them, foreign lenders prefer direct loans, often from the World Bank or Asian Development Bank, for big projects like roads and power. But these loans come with rules, like you must fix your budget or stop wasting shells on useless war drums. If a tribe is truly desperate, they crawl to the IMF, International Mammoth Fund, okay, caveman call it that. IMF gives emergency loans to stop total collapse, but demands strict changes, raise taxes, cut spending, sell state-owned huts. This often makes tribe angry, even if it saves them from worse fate. Third, the central bank, the tribe's own magic moneymaker. It can buy government bonds using freshly created shells. But too much of this magic leads back to hyperinflation monster, so most tribes only use it carefully. So debt isn't just one big lender. It's a whole web of people, tribes, and magic banks, all trading shells like squirrels trading nuts. Banker lean in, voice low like telling scary cave story. Caveman, debt not always bad, but handle wrong, and it swallow whole tribe. Debt is good when chief use it for things that make tribes stronger. Roads, schools, healers, trade routes. In a crisis, borrowing can stop hunger, rebuild huts, and keep fire burning. If the borrowed shells help tribe hunt more, trade more, and collect more taxes later, debt can even pay for itself. But debt turns into mammoth trap when tribe borrow just to pay old borrow, or borrow for shiny things that make no shells back. Over time, debt pile gets so big, more and more shells go to pay interest instead of building huts or feeding people. When lenders think chief can't pay back, they demand higher interest. more shells just to borrow same amount. This is like hunter with bad reputation who must promise double the fish to borrow a spear. Worst case, tribe defaults, says we no pay at all. This crash trust, credit rating drops, and other tribes refuse to lend without huge price. Cavemen think of Sri Lanka again. Debt monster ate their whole hut. That night, cavemen sit by fire thinking on all he hear. In his mind, debt no longer just big scary number, now it a tool like fire. Fire can cook meat, warm cave, keep wolves away. But if you add too much wood or leave it alone, it burn hut to ground. Debt the same. In good hands, it builds schools, healers, huts, roads, and trade boats. In bad hands, it burned through shells, trust, and future. Cavemen remember old days, when tribe borrow food from neighbors during bad winter. They pay back in good hunting season, and trust grows strong. But once, a lazy chief borrow every season, never hunt himself. Soon, no tribe would share with him. He end up alone in cold mud pit. Banker's words echo, it not about having debt, it about managing debt. Cavemen finally see truth, debt itself not curse. The curse is when chief use it without plan, without care for tomorrow. So caveman think, maybe next time news rock say tribe owe many trillions, he no just panic. He first ask, what they use it for? Because if debt feed the tribe, maybe fire worth keeping. Next moon, caveman watch news rock again. It shout, country debt reach new record. Old caveman heart twitch. But then he remember what bankers say. He no just hear big number now. He think, debt to GDP, good use or bad use, crisis fire or shiny useless statue. Sometimes answers still fuzzy, but cavemen feel less like running into forest. Youngling tick-tick hear cavemen muttering and ask, Uncle, you understand debt now? Cavemen grin. Mostly, enough to know not all debt is evil mammoth, some debt is tame goat that give milk. Tick-tick blink. That kinda makes sense. Cavemen still mix up some words. He still think IMF sound like International Mammoth Fund. He still wonder why chiefs raise debt ceiling instead of just making ceiling stronger. But he now see the pattern. It's all about balance, trust, and not feeding debt monster too much. And maybe, cavemen think, this lesson not just for tribes, hunters, families, even Tick-Tick with his shiny new shell card. Spend wise, borrow smart, or one day you live in cave with no fire and big IOU rock. Caveman chuckle. Debt still strange, but now it no scare him into hiding under mammoth skin. Caveman look into magic glowing box, speak to tribe. So, did caveman pass debt check today? If cavemen make you smile, or you now think, maybe national debt not just giant evil number after all, then you must do ancient ritual. Smash magic scribe stick so tribes stay strong and hit like button so firelight spread to more caves. Tell caveman in comments, what other big confusing modern thing should caveman hunt next? Maybe crypto mammoth? Maybe cloud that hold all tribes' pictures? Remember, debt is fire. Too small, tribe freeze. Too big, cave burn. Right size, tribe thrive. Now caveman go before debt monster send bill for all this talking. Ooga booga.